Nation, episode 1, preseason week 1. I'm Suly, and this is with your boy, my boy, Johnny boy. And,
have we got all the kinks out yet? Have we managed? You know what? I want to give people just a little what's going on here. That we are those apartments that are being built for the first time, and everybody starts moving in, even though there's still renovations and things going on around them. We're in that sort of phase, but this is going to be great. This is going to be great.
It ties into preseason football. Work out the kinks, figure it all out. You know, by the time we get rolling into NFL week 1, we're going to be humming all cylinders. First team. But this is Prop Nation. This is a betting show for props. This isn't your over-unders. This isn't who's going to win each game each week. We don't care about those things because they don't make us nearly as much money as props do. And we're about making money here. We're not about the flashy. Some picks are going to be flashy and sexy, and they're going to feel really nice, warm, and fuzzy when you take a player that has 108 yards. But for the most part, we're looking for money here. That's what we're doing.
I think I love about betting props specifically is it's still sort of like a relatively unknown market, even though it's been around in the gambling space for many, many years. Most sports books do it out of necessity rather than actually wanting to do it, because, if other books are offering these props, customers are going to go there. So this is where we like to come in. We like to try and see if we can exploit these markets and where it's still relatively unknown and see what kind of values we can find.
Oh, and there's a ton. Last year was super successful. I finished 86% last year, which was bananas.
That's insane.
Oh, man. Oh, it's a good year. And you know what? I'm hoping that we go 86% this year. And, if we do, that's a repeat. That's running it back. But we got to start somewhere, and that somewhere is preseason week 1. And we're going to be here looking for some line exploitations. We're going to look at some training camp battles. We're going to look at some things that are spicy around the league, and a couple players. I have a few on my board here, and I know that John's got some thoughts on the matter. I want to start with Deuce Vaughn, little guy. There's a lot of rumblings around the league right now for his performance in training camp. They're going to give him a ton of opportunities on the field during preseason to prove that they've made the right selection and that he can hold up to the National Football League. So small guy, training camp shows, bouncing around, can't even see him through piles, front flipping, he's spinning. But I think what this tends to lead to is you look at the game script. You look at the game script for how this preseason game is going to go. John, you want to fill me in on what's happening with the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Well, I was just going to say, I do really love this pick, looking at, so I've gone through and tracked sort of more recent preseasons over the last couple of years, specifically last year. I've gone through and seen coaches win-loss records as well as what they were doing each week. Were they trotting out first teamers, second teamers? And then I've got the quarterback depth chart as well. Now, what we've heard, so we saw that this line for Jacksonville at Dallas opened at Dallas -1.5 because they're the home team. And that's gone all the way out to -4.5 to Jacksonville upon the news that we heard that Doug Peterson was saying that they are going to start the starters. So we will see Trevor Lawrence, we'll see Travis Etienne, we'll see Tank Bigsby, and we'll see Calvin Ridley and the rest of the team, at least for a little bit.
Yeah, and then, I think 10, 15 snaps. I think 10, 15 snaps.
That does sound about right and sounds in line. Now, Dallas, on the other hand, I don't think we're going to see any of their starters. We won't see Dak. Like you were saying, what's the point in trotting out Dak when there's only really potential to fail if something goes horribly wrong for him? So they're not going to risk that. They're not going to risk Tony Pollard, who's going to share most of his work in the regular season as well. So I think that this is prime. I'm looking at the depth chart here for running backs. It's Rico Dowdle is behind Tony Pollard, Malik Davis. So given that, given the history of the boys not liking to start their boys, I think Deuce Vaughn's primed to have a really great
ton of reps. So when I think about this, I think about Jacksonville scoring early. Now, I think a lot of you out there are going to go, well, why don't you just take the Jaguars then? Why don't you just take Calvin Ridley for 35 yards and a TD? No, No.
Yeah. Wide
Good.
receivers are super risky to bet in preseason.
Well, absolutely. Even though he might catch, he might catch a 20-yarder. Yeah, he might, and he might catch a touchdown. What are the odds, with that?
Some starting receiver on some team in the preseason week 1, they're going to catch like a 40-yard bomb. And they're going to put up like 100 yards, and that'll be fantastic. Like I think it was like KJ Hamler last year, but was like preseason darling. Didn't translate at all into regular season.
No, but once again, needle in a haystack. So I think when I look at the other side of the ball, I think Jacksonville scores early, and now this puts Dallas right away on their heels. They're gonna be probably playing from behind in the game, and anytime you're playing from behind, when you're a pass catching running back who your coaching staff is trying to find you the ball in space to see what you can do against NFL level DBs and linebackers.
Yeah.
There is a high probability that Deuce Vaughn is going to get those opportunities. So I think, this is all hypothetical because we don't have the lines right now. But I think Deuce Vaughn, 2+ receptions. I would play that to 2.5. 9.5 receiving yards. I would probably play it to 13. And I like the rushing attempts or the rushing totals. I think 17.5 feels right. If it goes up to 20, I take it to 20. Now, I'm probably not going to take all 3 of these. I'm going to see which one is probably the lowest of the line, and that's the one I'm going to take. So if it's 2 receiving yards or 2 receptions, I will definitely take that. If the receiving yards comes in at 6, 7, I'm taking both of them because, and then same thing if the rush yards are 11 or 12, I'll take that too. But I'm going to take whatever's the juiciest on that. How do you feel about that?
No, I love that pick, and I think Deuce Vaughn's a great opportunity to look at. He's been getting a lot of training camp buzz, and I think we're going to see that in week 1. I think he is one of those, like, I don't know how much we'll see him in the actual regular season. I think he will be a bit of a preseason darling, but
I think it's going to depend.
Even when we saw the Cowboys on Hard Knocks a few years ago, it was these guys are still on the team, like Rico Dowdle, and we did see a bit of them. So that's a great pick. I want to jump now to, we were talking about training camp battles. Well, there is no other bigger battle in training camp right now than what's going on over in Tampa Bay between Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask.
It's a big one.
The reason I bring this one up as well is because it is the highest over-under of any game on the slate this weekend. It's at 39 at the moment. They're playing the Steelers, so Steelers are going to Tampa Bay, I believe. So, and the Steelers do have that sort of 0.5 advantage. So it is sort of like a coin flip at the moment. Todd Bowles, he has a 7-12 win record as well in the preseason. And even Brady was still getting a bit of run. Kyle Trask was getting a bit of run last season. So he's not afraid to roll out his starters. They've come out and also openly said, this is the first time anyone's seen on a depth chart. It says Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. We have absolutely no idea. But I think what that basically means is that we're going to see Baker for one half. We're going to see Kyle Trask for another half.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at potential of some touchdown props. Now, what you might see in the preseason, if you see any touchdown props for anytime touchdown scorers or anything like that, is it might say like half a touchdown. So you're either going to bet 1 or you're going to bet none. It might even say 1.5. But if there's a 39-point over under, I think we're going to see a couple. So with that said, I don't mind Baker. He's going to be trotting out with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin potentially for a bit of drive. If we look at the Bucs depth chart behind him as well, they've got Trey Palmer, they've got David Moore, the longtime Seattle Seahawks player. Russell Gage is going to be out there as well, though. And then they got a bunch of sort of like rookies and things that they got to work through. They might have a few tight end packages. So I'm looking at Baker to maybe throw for, if we can find a line that's sort of around 100 yards, I actually don't mind that.
I think they're both going to get those opportunities, right? So they'll both be on the field for equal time. And I think that's week 1 might be a little less. So maybe it's a quarter and a quarter, Sure. But even that quarter, if they each get 2-3 shots at it, and there's, 100 yards seems like a lot, but I think I'd be willing to take Baker Mayfield on that. I would. I'm not adding it to my card.
Touchdown or 100 yards, I don't mind it. The other thing is because they're playing the Steelers also do really like to win regular season games. I know that the Ravens always get hyped because they're 24 wins in a row at the moment. But Tomlin's 37-24, and he plays his starters as well. Now, albeit last year that was like Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, but those guys are still hanging around. So the fact that it's going to be like, is Mitch Trubisky still on the Steelers? Actually, I need to quickly look that up. I think I'm sure Mason Rudolph is.
I want to say yes. Why don't we just take a look here?
Yeah, I'm just going to bring that up real quick because I think
he still is.
Everyone's still there. Exactly. This is like not too dissimilar from a regular season game, man. I think that we're going to see a good rotation. I think they both teams like to play their starters. I like the 39 sort of over under. I think I got it back when it was like 37 as well.
And I mean, in terms of running backs, they're going to trot out the whole stable. They've got a deep stable that they have to work through. So I don't think I would trust any of that.
Maybe even Rashad White for maybe like some receiving yards as well.
Kate Otten for 2 catches.
Yeah.
You know, when I hear that, when I hear he'll probably, you know, he'll be in there, they're going to want to see quite a bit out of Cade. And I think, you know, a lot of press and release. And I think being a safety valve, you know, Baker's not the most timely in his releases. He's known for not taking his first read often. And so I think, is it going to be the running back or is it going to be the tight end? And I think in this case, I feel better about going with the tight end. So I would go Cade Otten. 2 receptions. I would.
That sounds nice. I think that sounds fair. What about some pass catching work for we were just talking about Rashad White, maybe even Chase Edmonds getting thrown in there. Keyshawn Vaughn, he's a bit of a preseason darling. Maybe they could throw it around.
A lot of hype coming out with Chase Edmonds right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they Swiss Armied him and then moved him around a little bit. Tried a couple plays that you know, tried to move him out into to a wide or satellite him. I think he'll probably get 1 or 2 catches too. So I think if either of those guys show up, Rashad White for receiving, I think he'll get a bunch of rushes. I think they'll give him 6 or 7 at least.
Yep.
And you know, if you average him at 3.5, 4 yards, do the math. That's what I would take him at probably. But I still feel better about Cade Otten, I think.
Yep. No, that's fair enough. And like, again, for most of these preseason games, the first thing I'm looking at is sort of like over-unders and team totals, because you want to kind of get these sort of like higher scoring offenses going. And there's a couple, like, for example, the Battle for LA preseason edition is like, that's an absolute stay away from me. Both teams hate playing their starters. They never do. Now, we might see Stetson Bennett versus Max Duggan, which would be very interesting based on how the college season finished last year. But yeah, both these teams don't like to trot out the starters. They don't like winning games. Staley's 1-5, McVay's 7-11.
They'll find a way to lose.
Yeah, they'll find a way to do. So I'm always looking at Dolphins, Bucks, Steelers, maybe even Falcons. These are great teams. The Jets, Robert Saleh's 5-0, or should say 5-1, based on the Hall of Fame game. So yeah, that's just a little like a bit of insight on like how I like to think about the preseason.
I like it. Another training camp battle, the wide receiver position for the New England Patriots. And I think there's a couple young players there that are duking it out right now for the 3rd spot. And the guy that I love the most in that situation, Pop, and he's been getting a ton of notoriety in camp. Demario Douglas.
Yeah, that's a great call.
Yeah, and I think give me 10 yards for him. Give me 10. Give me 2 slants. Give me two receptions, 10 yards. If it's 12 yards, I'll take the 12. I think he's going to get a first down. I think they're going to give him the ball. They're going to give him the ball a couple times out to the side. And then on the inside, I think some inside slants, something like that, some of the options. So, you know what? I liked it a little bit more when I thought that Malik was going to play quarterback, because I figured they would probably try some option. You know, Cam Newton won me a ton of money in the preseason years ago, just taking him on the rush yards, because they wanted to see, like, can this guy bang it up? Can he run still? You know, so I'd probably feel a little bit better if Malik was playing, but I think with Bailey playing, that's going to be a quick out. They're going to try and get these. They're going to try and get these quarterbacks thrown.
their quarterbacks are in an absolutely fine position. I think we'll see a bit of Mac potentially, although we didn't see him last preseason. But Bailey Zappi's fine. Trace McSorley, I think he'd be fine with those guys.
Yeah, I think Bailey will get a good look. They'll get a good look at Bailey, and I think honestly, I think the key to success there for them is going to be to see Bailey get the ball out quick. I don't think you're going to be stretching the field with them. I think it's going to be the Patriot way. Get the ball into the right hands, get it into space, and get it to the guy who's open. And all signs to the guy who's open is Demario Douglas. In training camp, he seems to be the first one open. He's finding every little seam that he can, and even Julian Edelman was giving him some big ups this week. So I think they're going to want to see what they got in this kid.
That's nice, man. I love that. And if you think back to last preseason, you might remember Christian Wilkinson, preseason darling as well. 8 catches, 99 yards in that first preseason game against the Giants. He was involved in everything. It's almost like Belichick loves to have this preseason guy that he just runs through, and then you never see him again. It's as sad as that is to say. Like,
I hope that the never see it again part isn't Demario, because I got shares in him. But I do think that you're going to see a lot of work out of the slot. I do.
Does Keyshawn Boutte concern you at all, or
No.
Kendrick Bourne?
No, I mean, for making the team, yeah, completely. But for preseason, for what our purpose is here, which is making money on props, no, not at all. Yeah. I think he's going to get fed the ball.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's what within his possibilities. If you can find sort of around 2 catches, 10, 15 yards.
Yeah.
I think
I stay under 15, but I go 12 and a half. I go 12 and a half is the highest, I think.
Okay.
So lock it in. That's going to be on my card if it's there. And then that's the thing, is these might not even be available. But I mean, in Ontario here, John's in Australia, I'm in Ontario, and we don't have Underdog anymore. So if you have it on Underdog, I'm just gonna send you some money and you can gamble for me. You didn't hear that? No, we didn't. No, that didn't. I didn't say that. No gambling.
No, but what I like about what you're saying there as well is they're going to be playing against the Texans, who are going to be trotting out CJ Stroud. We know he's going to be playing in a bunch of first teamers, so there will be yards to be had in that game as well. I really like that. Now I'm kind of looking at a couple more games here. I think I want to roll with the Buffalo Bills for now, and they're going to Indy to play the Colts. And I'm looking on the Bills side of things at the moment. As much as like the Colts are getting all the love and the hype and with everything AR's doing at the moment. But I'm looking at maybe like a Trent Sherfield kind of catching balls from Kyle Allen. There will be a bit of Josh Allen we might see. Usually Sean McDermott does play Josh Allen for like a drive or two, even in week 1. McDermott is 12-6 in his record. Steichen is 0-0. We obviously haven't seen anything yet, but we know that the Colts are going to be, I think they're going to be trotting out a couple of their starters like Anthony Richardson. If not, we will see Gardner Minshew and Sam Ellinger.
You're going to want to see Anthony. Like, you have to. You know, you need to see what you have in live fire, right? Like, it's inevitable. It'd be a quarter, probably, maybe a half. Honestly, we've seen the Colts do this with who was it last year? Their backup
with Matt Ryan and
obviously
who was backing up? Was it? No, it wasn't Jacoby. He was in the Browns. Who was their backup?
Was it Ellinger?
Ellinger, he's still there now.
Yeah, he's still there now. But you saw some extensive play from him last year, and I think you'll probably get the same thing. But I mean, on that game. I could see. I mean, I don't know why you've given up. You didn't roll with your boy Shakir.
Yeah, well, so this is the thing. I'm looking at the Bills side of it. I don't mind that Kyle Allen will probably be playing for most of the game, and Matt Barkley, like they are okay in the offense. And looking at this Bills receiver depth chart, I know. I mean, we said at the top of the show, maybe stay away from receivers if you can.
Yeah,
but Shakir should be good. Trent Sherfield. He's been putting up a few highlight reel catches in training camp that you're seeing going on around Twitter right now. On our lads, he is the 3rd receiver on the depth chart as well. So we'd love to see that. Been a bit of talk about Deontay Hardy in special teams reps as well. So while we're on the Bills, I know that you have a bit of a love for one James Cook, who is.
So I would take it in the preseason. I would take it here in the preseason. I was just going to say that. And everybody does lean towards wide receivers, and it is fun to talk about wide receivers because, big playability, the modern NFL. But fact of the matter is that preseason plays bogged down. They don't go as planned. They never do. And there's a lot of miscues, a lot of missed throws, and you bank on a smart quarterback to make a smart play. And the smart play isn't to throw it down the field. The smart play is to throw it to the closest guy to you that's open. And that's going to be James Cook on the first drive. He will probably get 2 receptions on the first drive if they trot him out. I think, when they're trying those stretch passes, but who knows? Josh Allen could come out, one throw to Stephon Diggs for 99 yards, man. and then they go, okay, we don't need to see anything else. Yeah. See you later. Good night, guys. Take the pads off. But the fact of the matter is, I think they're going to keep James Cook in there. I think they have a lot of packages built for James Cook, and they're going to want to see not just for the stars, they're going to want to see for the linemen. They're going to want to see how they can move around, how they can get those screens moving. They're going to want to see if they can push and pull from the guards. I think you're going to see James Cook. I think you're going to see him catch 2 balls. And so that's what I would do. I would take James Cook for 2. I also would like to see Shakir. I think they're going to get him the ball behind the line of scrimmage once or twice. At some point in that game. So I think I would do the same thing. I would take Shakir for 2, but I think they're going to be playing very similar roles in this preseason. In the preseason, I think you're going to see a lot of short passes. I'd go James Cook. That'd be me. But
just quickly, I'd love to get your thoughts, maybe just on Dalton Kincaid and tight end position there, rookie starting out. Do you think they might get him a bit, like a little bit involved? Or
yes, of course. I think. Yeah, that he'll be probably one of the top options. Like, I think they'll probably have a couple routes designed just to see how he gets separation, especially if they get the zone looks, and they're gonna go, all right, let's dial it up and let's see if Dalton could get some separation up the field, and let's see if we could stretch him with a 12 to 15 yard seam route. Let's see if we can catch him with a little hitch, box out. See what they have in his vertical, especially if they get to the red zone. I wouldn't be surprised if they give him an opportunity there. But yeah, I would take that too. But
I like that. And the other thing is, on our lads, we can see that Dawson Knox is still in the tight end 1 position. So the fact that he's also in that second he's just behind. Now, we don't expect that to stay the way, but it does lean itself well for preseason to get a little bit of action in. Which
they're going to have him running some of those Dawson Knox routes for sure in that game.
Sure. While we're talking about Anthony Richardson as well, is there anything there that you think you'd look at?
Rushing.
Yeah.
I think that's about the only thing that I would take. They're going to try a deep bomb with him. On that first drive. Yeah. We'll look for Alec Pierce. Look for Alec Pierce for a 20-yard completion.
They're going to be in their home stadium, Lucas Oil Field.
They're going to want to show him up. They're going to want to show him up.
Yeah.
3 steps back, cock, and chuck it.
He likes to get his high-powered cars out.
I agree. I think it's going to happen. Will he connect on it? We're going to see what the kid's made of, right? But
Rashad Perryman's on the team as well. It might even be him on the other end.
Maybe in the third quarter. I don't know. But I think Alec Pierce will get that look. Now, will he catch it? Who knows? So that's kind of one of those things where it's like, they're going to try it. They're going to try it, but will he catch it? I don't know.
For sure. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, it's like a coin flip to me. It's like betting on the coin flip at the Super Bowl if you're taking that pick. If you're taking Alex Pierce for 20 yards or something. Same thing with Richardson's pass completions. I think he's going to scramble at least once. And if they give you 9 yards or 10 yards for the rushing, he'll probably go for a first down, extend it. And
would you ever consider any unders for Richardson rushing? Like, say his line is at
30.
Yeah, 30 rushing yards.
No, under all day long.
Under 30, yeah.
So that's what
I was thinking as well. Is it might even be on the flip side there. Colts have moved out to 5.5 point favorites, which is just absolutely nuts. I'm not I know
it means that they're going to play. They're going to play their 1 and 2. They're 1 and 1B.
Yeah, it shows. Gardner Minshew is absolutely fine to play in preseason football as well. To move an offense. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind even just maybe not taking any huge overs on Anthony Richardson, maybe just a little bit there.
Yep. Hey, there's one quarterback that I'd like to move to. We'll try and wrap this up quick. We're at 25 minutes right now. I'd love to get this wrapped up for the listeners. DTR, he had a great, strong Hall of Fame game.
We're on him.
We were on him. The rushing total, and I back to the well. I think he's going to do it again, and I like the total anywhere from 17.5 to 22.5. I think it'll probably slot somewhere around 20. He had 30 something in the Hall of Fame game, but I think
he did, and I'm slightly concerned that that's maybe shown his cards a little bit.
I don't think so. I think what's gonna happen is they're gonna give him some extensive time. That's a good looking player. It happened to Brock Purdy last year when you have a good quarterback and you're like, was that a fluke? And you know that any man who has any form of, if you got that in you, if you've got that in you, and all of a sudden the coach is saying, was it a fluke? Go out there and show me. He's going to play lights out football. And I think that his strength is evasion. And I think, obviously he's going to want to show that he can extend plays, that jump, that high jump, little juke to the side, that's not just a flash in the pan either, that he can make defenders miss. So I think the rushing total that's there. And you like that one?
I'm looking at I'm not concerned about Kellen Mond at all anymore. I think that Dorian Thompson Robinson is going to get the bulk of the offense in this game as well. I think it should be a good game against Washington as well.
It's going to be a great one. The other side is going to be rolling out their starters. They've got
Cam Howard, Jacoby Brissett, Jake Fromm, all of those players can play.
After the reports of their coaching staff being as intense as they were, and a lot of the players basically saying what the heck's going on here? Why is this guy going? Why is he busting my balls so much? That the Commanders are coming out hot. They're coming out hot
for sure. And Ron Rivera, he plays his guys as well. You will see starters in the game. Probably less so on the Brown side of things, but I still like Stefanski's 4-2 in his games, or 5-2 now. So he's not opposed to winning them.
I like Gibson for 2. I like Gibson for 2 catches in this one too.
Yeah. Okay.
I do. Yeah, I do. If they've got him out there for the half, and I think they'll give first team reps to 2 quarterbacks. I think.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, then he'll get an extended look. I think catching one from each quarterback.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't think that's unreasonable. Now I've got one more running back that I wanted to talk about, and that is Mr. Prince from Kansas.
Yes, that's interesting because I feel like I can't get a read on these last 2 games that are coming out on Sunday or Monday. Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know what day it is. I think it's Sunday.
Sunday.
I like it. Yeah. I like it, and I can't see Pacheco and Clyde getting a lot of the work. I think they'll first team was supposed to get 15. I think, what did they say? Mahomes is going to go in there for a drive.
He usually does. That's what I was going to say. Is we do see Mahomes sometimes for 1 or 2 drives. It wouldn't be the whole quarter or half, I don't think. But last season, we saw Mahomes for a drive in both week 1 and week 2. We didn't see anyone at all in week 3. It was all 3rd and 4th string in week 3. But having said, even when we see Mahomes last season, they put up 14 points in preseason week 1. So,
well, I like Prince. I like Prince for 2 catches. I also like him. There's going to be a theme here. I think 17.5 to 22.5 on rushing yards. I say 17 to 22 because that's a pretty much across the board. That seems like it's a reasonable, because we don't have these lines yet, right? I can't see them pushing him over 22. I can't see that being.
You don't think he'll get maybe the bulk? So
he'll get the bulk. No, I could see him getting it. I can't see Vegas lining him up for any more than 22, though. I think that'll probably be the top end of what you're going to see on the sports books. But what do I know? This is a whole new year, and you don't know, right? But from the past, I think that it would be somewhere around there, and I feel really comfortable taking the over on that. I also feel really comfortable with the 2+ receiving yards, and I would take them both as singles. I would take one of them and parlay it in with. So I think I'll probably end up having a parlay with Deuce Vaughn, DTR rushing, and Prince on the 2 receptions. I think that'll, and you might have talked me into K. Otten, but But I think I think that's probably my
depth chart is Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then Deneric Prince and LaMichael Pirine. I think that once the first teamers are out of the way, we will see a lot of Deneric Prince
and we've years and years of seeing Pirine. I think you know what you have there with that running back. He'll see the field.
Michael. Yeah.
No, I know that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I know that. But I just think. Well, how long's he been in the league?
LaMichael? Probably like 2 or 3 years.
3 years? 3 years now?
Maybe 3, 4. Yeah, somewhere around there. Samaja's been in the league for 6 years now, 7 years.
So I mean, that's a player that's bounced around, and you know what? They'll give him the opportunity, but I think they really want to know what they have in Prince, and I think that's a guy that's going to take McKinnon's role eventually. And you're gonna want to see, and you know what happens with McKinnon. A lot of block. He'll start a block and then he'll tail off the block and find himself in open space. And I think you're going to see a lot of that. And I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Prince has a massive game, like a massive game.
Yeah. And sure. I'd love to give one more game here, if that's all right. I'm looking at the Falcons who are going to the Dolphins.
Ooh. You think Desmond Ridder's going to get the shot?
I think that there's a bit of potential for a shootout here. Now, Arthur Smith, 2-4 in his preseason games. Mike McDaniel, 2-1. As I mentioned, like Mike McDaniel loves to play his starters from time to time. You'll see Tua will get some love. Jalen Waddle will rip off some huge runs as well. And I think we're going to see it on the Falcons side as well. They're going to want to trot out Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, even though Ridder's sort of won the job as far as we know right now. We will see a bit of action. Now, the players that I'm specifically looking at, because I think that this has a bit of shootout potential, I would not be surprised. Now, it's going to depend on his health because I think Devon A-Chain may have tweaked something at the moment. But if he's playing, if he's getting any time, I can see A-Chain ripping off some pretty huge runs against Falcons' sort of second, third string defense.
Yeah, if he's going up against the second and thirds, that's a good matchup. I like that. That's tasty. I don't think he's going to play, to be honest with you. I don't.
You think he's too injured? Yeah, because other than that, I would probably stay away from the rest of the running backs. The other guys are obviously Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson start. But there's also still Salvin Ahmed is there and Myles Gaskin as well.
And on the other side of the ball, okay, you're going to give Bijan. Everyone's going to want to see Bijan. So give him five rushes. Give him 5 rushes and see what he does. And you're going to imagine he's going to go 4 yards per carry at least. Yeah. So, Vegas is going to probably play that. They're going to juice that because everybody wants.
I think that'll be too high.
Everyone wants to bet. It's going to be 45. It's going to be 45 yards and no thanks. See you later.
If anything, I'd be on the Bijan unders there. I know there's going to be a lot of hype and excitement, but and the other thing is Arthur Smith does like to play his first string running backs. He did it last year in week 1 and week 3. So the only other guy I wanted to mention quickly was Cedric Wilson. And the reason I bring him up is because when the Dolphins brought him in last year, they did bring him in and they did pay him a little bit of money, like some noticeable money as well. And he really hadn't done anything in that time. So I wouldn't be surprised if they like the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel does love to trot out the first string and the second string. So therefore, if he gets that overlap, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him a little bit. He's going to be playing with he might play a little bit with Tua. He's going to get Mike White and Skylar Thompson as well.
I don't mind Skylar Thompson in that game. I honestly don't. I don't mind. I don't mind the rushing. He will be playing. I'm assuming. Let me just.
If I can get Cedric Wilson at 15 yards for a catch, over 15, I think I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, Mike White, and then Skylar. Skylar is going to get probably the majority of that game. He might even get half the game. Yeah. So I mean, I that's one quarterback that I might look at too. I would just probably sprinkle a little bit on that. I'm not going to add that to a parlay. I'm not going to pair that up with anything else. I might just take a single on that. Yeah. But I do. Yeah. I think, you know what, John, we had some good picks there. I think
that's it. Man.
Yeah. I think that was good. I think, anybody listening, I don't know if you were to put together 3 solid picks for yourself, what would they be that you would feel comfortable stringing together into one play? 3
comfortable picks into a parlay. If I had to think about it, I think I am going Baker just with over sort of like 100 passing yards.
You're
I think
an animal.
With the offense. I'm okay with it. He's going to be out there for at least a half, I believe. At least
you think so?
Half.
I think quarter and quarter is my guess, but.
Well, who else are they? Then they've got Johnny Wolford behind them, and
really, are they going to want to see much of that? Yeah, I don't know.
Much is going to happen on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I like that Baker. I like that Baker pick. It's spicy. It's definitely spicy. That's a lot of yards. In preseason, but like, yeah, man.
I love that Demario Douglas call that you made as well on the Patriots. Could be good. And then give me what were we talking about with maybe the Falcons? Yeah, if you can get maybe like a Bijan. Oh no, that's too risky.
What if he rips one off for 80?
Yeah, I know. He only has to rip off one. That was the thing.
I just keep me away from that altogether.
Look, honestly, if A-Chain plays, I think that there's some money to be made in A-Chain.
Yeah, I know you like that.
At some point in the preseason, whether it's week 1, week 2, or week 3.
Yeah, but today, so like if you're giving it to a listener, you want three picks to parlay.
Yep. Okay, Baker over passing. We'll go Demario Douglas over receiving. I mean, this is all dependent on what it is, of course.
Yeah, so we'll say the number is going to be 2.
Yeah. Number is going to be 2 receptions. Well, I would probably take the actual receiving, the yards over the receptions.
That's going to be a tough one to make a call, but my guess is that it would be anywhere from 10 to, let's call it 15 at the high point.
Yep. And maybe let's look at the Buffalo Bills. Who did I bring up before? Hang on, let me bring it back. Maybe we'll go with James Cook, the 2 receiving yards from James Cook.
Or the two receptions?
2 receptions. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a bonus there for me. So, yeah, I think that's a good one. I like that. I'm going to go Deuce Vaughn. Whether like I mentioned, it's either going to be the 2 receptions. If it's at 2 receptions, it's going to be the receiving yards. I would imagine it's going to be somewhere at 9.5. So if it comes under that, that's going on the card 100%.
Oh, yeah.
17.5 rush yards. If it's under that, it's going on the card.
Yeah.
I like DTR rushing.
Yeah. Good call. Yeah.
And if I'm doing 3, I'm going to take Prince. I'm going to take Prince at the 2 receptions.
Yep. Love it.
And then I would take James Cook as the sprinkle in there. Just that's like that's the sexiest of all of them, I think. Yeah, actually DTR might be pretty sexy just based off his previous performance, but James Cook for the sexy.
I'm also interested to watch Tampa this weekend as well, if they're going to be trotting out the first teamers. And he's sort
who's
of like,
that? Sorry, you
Tank Bigsby on.
He'll get some looks for sure.
I'm interested to watch him maybe for some week 2 prop bets.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, John. Hey, let's wrap this up.
Thanks, bud.
Hey, week 1 preseason. Let's revisit the board after. You know that you're gonna get a couple FaceTime calls from me as these games go on, and we're gonna see, and then we're gonna shamelessly put these picks up, and then we're gonna see what the heck happened this week. And then we're gonna go on to week 2.
On the record.
Make some money.
All right, bud.
All right, Johnny.